I was literally in the middle of class, and this woman was interrupting my class to ask me questions about my dog. I'm going to share a story with y'all about something that happened to me recently that is really not okay to do to service dog handlers. I really don't get super angry at people who distract my service dog. That's not to say that I like it, because I really don't like it. Like, don't distract a service dog. However, I don't get raging mad at people that do this, because I like to think that people either just get so excited about a service dog that they kind of forget, like, oh, this is a working dog, and all of that just goes out the window. And I also like to think that maybe this person is just ignorant, maybe they don't know better. I know other service dog handlers that would actually scream at people for distracting their service dog. I'm not that kind of person. My mom taught me ever since I was young to be kind, that you'll catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Like, if you're nice to people, they tend to be nice back. I think that speaking with kindness to the public is the best way to advocate for the disabled community and service dog handlers, and it's the best way to educate people about service dogs. So I don't get very angry at people. However, the story I'm about to tell you made me very, very angry at this woman. Now, I did not lash out at her. I did not yell at her. I just sort of collected myself and left the situation as soon as I could. So here's what happened. I was at my college taking a guitar class. And in this guitar class, we're in this sort of lobby area, and there's like a very small stage. And we are having our class in that area instead of the typical classroom because of COVID-19. So this area is a lot bigger space. We can spread out more. There's not a ton of people in the class, but there's at least 5 students in the class, myself included. And then there's the instructor. And so the setup for this is the instructor sitting in front of 5 college-age kids. And this woman came walking through the lobby, and I don't know why she was there. And she saw this, and I don't know what went through her head, because number one, she's at a college campus. So personally, if I saw a setup like this, I would assume that they were either in class or having a club of some sort. She walks in, and for some reason, Scout thought that something was off about her. And so she saw this woman, and she barked at this woman. And so she was like, oh my gosh, there's a dog in here. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So I'm in the middle of class, and this woman shouts at me from across the room all these different questions about Scout. Like, oh, how old is she? Is she a boy? Is this dog a boy or a girl? What's her name? Like, just all of these questions. And I'm in the middle of class. Like, if you see a handler with a service dog, or a person with a service dog, we call them handlers. If you see a person with a service dog and they're clearly busy with something, don't interrupt whatever they're busy with to ask them all sorts of questions, because that is so frustrating. We get questions all the time, and that's perfectly fine. Like, I honestly don't mind talking to people about my service dog. I don't mind answering questions about the different laws and, different things with service dogs, and even like specific questions about Scout, like how long I've had her and things like that. I don't love when people ask me what my disability is, because that's very private. You wouldn't ask somebody what pills they're taking and why. Like, I'm a complete stranger. Don't ask me really personal questions. I get that people are curious, but like, there's a limit there. Like, if you wouldn't ask this to some other random stranger, like, don't ask me it. But yeah, so I love talking to the public about all these different things, but if I'm busy, like, I can't talk to you right now. Like, I was literally in the middle of class, a class that I have paid for. I have paid to be there. I have this time commitment, and this woman was interrupting my class to ask me questions about my dog. And so it was very difficult for me to try and concentrate and keep Scout from barking at this woman and answering this woman. And I'm like in the middle of class and we're trying to change chords and I'm not good at the guitar yet. And so it was just like sensory overload, you know? And it's like, why are you bothering me while I'm taking my class? You know, and it would be one thing for her to come up to me and talk to me after class, but it's another thing for her to interrupt my class. So for some reason, this woman walks over to the stage while we're in the middle of class with her mask on. And she's like talking to me about my dog. She's asking me questions. And Scout was going nuts because there was just something off about this woman. This happens every once in a while with my dog. She just senses that there's something off with a person and she might bark at them. And so I'm trying to get Scout to chill out. And I literally turned my back to this woman in my chair and was working with my dog on the other side. And I stopped speaking with her to try and show her, number one, like, I'm busy right now. I can't talk to you. And number two, you're distracting my dog. Would you please back up? And so eventually she got the hint, but it took a while. And so she went and sat down behind us in the lobby area. And so then we went back to class and things were okay for a little bit. And then towards the end of class, this woman comes over without her mask on and says to me like that she wants to give my dog a rub down and she wants to pet my dog. And I told her no. I said, my dog is working. Please don't pet her. And she was like, oh, you know, I really would love to give her a rub down. Why won't you let me give her a rub down? And I'm like, I just told you no. Like, you know, respect when a service dog owner says no, because there's a reason for it. Our dogs have a job. They're not there to entertain you. And Scout is super entertaining and she's super cute. And I understand that, but that's not why she's there. She's there to take care of me. Anyway, so this woman asks me if she can pet my dog more than once, and I tell her no more than once and that this is my service dog. And then she says to me like, oh, next week I'm getting a golden doodle and it's going to be my emotional service dog. And I was just like, oh, because that's so frustrating to me too when people they don't understand the difference between ESA, service dogs, and therapy dogs, so they just smush whatever together and make up their own titles. And I'm like, oh no. So that's why I did a video on that, and I'll put a link in the description. Anyway, so she's like, oh, I'm gonna get an emotional service dog, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then she's like, oh, you know, I'll get my emotional service dog and then I can bring it to school and it can play with your dog. And I'm like, no, it can't. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, no, you know, but at the time I was trying to work with Scout to get her to chill because this woman, you know, came over without her mask on and is talking to me, and Scout senses something is off about her and she's like barking and stuff, and you know, and I'm like trying to pack up my things because it's the end of class and this woman is pestering me, and it's like, that's just too much, you know what I mean? Like, I was busy and she interrupted everything. And then I was actually having Scout do tasks for me that I asked her to do every week at the end of class. And Scout was in the middle of tasking for me when this woman is still asking if she can pet her. I'm like, no! Like, I asked Scout to pick up her blanket and pick up her, you know, if she has like a chew left, I'll ask her to pick that up. Like, I give her bully sticks sometimes in class, so I'll ask her to pick that up. And I'm asking her to do these things, and this woman's still pestering me. And I'm like, would you please leave me alone? Because it was starting to get really frustrating, and I don't have to let you pet my dog. You know, if people ask me and I have time and stuff, if I'm not doing anything, if I don't need anything from Scout, sometimes I'll say yes. You know, so I'm not always saying no, but I was busy, and so I'm going to say no if I'm in the middle of something or if I need to be somewhere, because, service dog handlers have lives too, and we're not, we don't always have the time to stop and talk to you. Sometimes I need to do a quick grocery run because I have somewhere to be, just like everybody else. And then, I'm like trying to pack up my guitar, and she's talking to Scout and being like, oh, I really wish I could give you pets, but Mom said no. And I'm like, that's just so rude, honestly. Like, I told you no, please be respectful of that. My dog is not here for you to pet. My dog is here to provide tasks for me to mitigate my disabilities. And so, oh my gosh, just please don't be like this woman. If a handler is busy, don't interrupt them to ask them 1,000,000,001 questions about their dog. If their dog is getting really distracted by you, please back off. And if the person says, no, you may not pet my dog, please be respectful of that, because it is so hard on us when people are not respectful of that, especially for people with psychiatric service dogs, which is one of Scout's jobs. It is really anxiety producing and very overwhelming when people are rude about us saying no to them about petting our dogs. So please just keep these things in mind. Don't harass service dog owners. Like, we're just trying to go through our daily lives just like you. We're people too, and I know that she's super cute and that it's really exciting seeing a dog in public, but like, please keep it together as best as you can, and don't pester us, like, just be respectful. So anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. That's my story. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you're a service dog handler that can relate, like, I feel you, and if you want to leave comments, like, telling me your stories, or if you have any questions, please go ahead. And always remember to be kind, guys. I preach that on my channel all the time, and I was still kind to this woman. I was very polite, and I would just say, like, no, you cannot pet my service dog, no, she's working. I was very nice to her, even though she made me very angry. I kept it together, and I was polite. But anyway, so please remember to be kind. I'll see y'all next time, and thanks for watching my video. Bye!